Okay, people, we're back,
Hi.
and it's Thursday, and we've decided that Thursdays will be self-improvement Thursday because Damon and I both need self-improvement, and maybe there's someone out there who needs a little touch or tweaking
Everyone can
themselves.
benefit from some self
Well,
improvement.
there's people that are pretty darn near perfect, but I'm not one of them. Um, what are you going to talk about? I know Damon has it. I'm going to let him go first here.
Okay, well, I did review Tony Robbins for his TED Talk, which is, if you really want to get deep into the nitty gritty of transforming yourself from the ground up, try Tony Robbins. He's a little intense. I think taken in small doses, you can build up a tolerance, kind of like going to the gym and building some muscles up. After a while, then you could achieve some of what he espouses. There's a lot of other people out there that have good opinions about integrating whole spiritual and financial and health well-being. There's all sorts of different ways to look at self-improvement. Uh, One of the latest ones I've been reading is Jim Rohn. He was one of the mentors for Tony Robbins. He passed away recently, but had some great knowledge about uh, disciplines that it takes to be your best self. And one thing that I got from him that I'm going to start working on is planning better and writing things down and holding myself accountable and having my wife hold me accountable for some goals that big goals, and then you got to just break it down into small goals. That's how life is. Just you want to achieve stuff, you got to you know write it down. You got to have a plan. You can't just drift along.
Now, this is just an overview today. We're kind of laying the groundwork that next Thursday we're going to start taking turns. So it'll be Damon one week talking about self improvement, and then me taking the lead for the next and alternating. Um, I've decided I'm going to focus on, since I'm me and since I don't see too many people like me out there, namely I've always been very self-conscious of how I've looked, which I'm sure there might be other people out there that are self-conscious, but
All women are to
I
one
don't
degree or another, except for
I'm not going to
the
say
1% models. Everybody else.
I don't say all people are because I don't know, but I'm going to impart my wisdom and kind of my journey on and we'll together learn how to love ourselves, because that seems to be a major problem out there in the world. Is first you got to love yourself. You got to be trustworthy of yourself, and then you'll trust and love the world, basically. Because there's a saying, I'm not going to impart any religion in here, but as without, so as within, so without, as without, so within. What you have inside of you manifests outside in the world. That said, I'm not going to dive too deeply into any religion or spiritual teachings or anything, because there's enough people that can do it a lot better than I can out there. But I am going to tell you, since I was a very young child, aware of what the world around me looked like, um, when I was a kid, my eye kind of pulled. I kind of looked like Marty Feldman, but
Huh?
yeah. And until I was about 2 years old, and then they corrected both my eyes. You can, unless you're you could probably tell. Anyway, um, as I grew up, we had in my generation women like Twiggy and a few others. Twiggy comes to mind because she's stuck in my head so much. Tall, skinny, just rail thin skinny, and I looked like a typical little Greek girl. I had like almost one eyebrow and long hair, and I didn't.
Twiggy wasn't extreme, and I don't
Yeah,
think
we
that.
always have extremes. There's always extremes. However, we only had like 5 channels on television when I was younger. So whatever was on and whoever was on, those are the women that we got to see. And if we didn't identify with them, we kind of got, like, well, what's wrong with me? I did that. So recently, like yesterday, I had a big thump in the head from the universe, and it told me that I really need to wake up and start dealing with this as I age and I couldn't figure out for most of my life why I was here on this earth and why I would choose to look as I do. Honestly, I never came up with an answer except for this afternoon as I was talking to my husband, and we're in a deep conversation about what would my purpose be looking as I do. I don't look like a lot of people. A lot of the women, all right, I'm going to say the women on the internet, I'm just coming out and say it, you're all gorgeous. You're all just drop dead, beautiful, gorgeous, and young and beautiful, and you're beautiful.
No, you have to remember,
So,
you're beautiful.
All right, we'll get
to
there.
me.
Well, okay, well that's nice, but it's wonderful that you're thinking that. We need to be secure in ourselves. So I'm going to do my best to
get past
to
the
get past
visual.
this, which before I was interrupted, I was going to say that I could never figure out the reason why, because here I believe that we come through to this earth to learn lessons. We do choose the body we come into for whatever specific lessons. So I had to think, well, what would I want to learn? Well, you got gorgeous women out there, don't need to learn too much because they're already gorgeous, but they have to learn other things, I'm sure. Everybody has to learn something. For me, I could only come up with the reason I look as I do is to love myself as I am.
Ta-da! That's
Took me a few years, some years.
This is a family
But
show. Don't use your curse words.
So it took me to tell this moment, really. So I've rambled on long enough.
Hey, you got a revelation from
but
my
I had
wife
a revelation.
about her epiphany on life.
Because it's something that I've struggled with. I know inside of me is this 10-foot tall Amazonian, gorgeous, striking, commanding woman, and it just hasn't been able to come out in a 4'11" person.
Hey, you're a great package the way you are. You are perfect the way you are, and I think you're coming to the realization that can't change that, so you're just going to move forward and just be the best person you can do.
A heck of a lot of plastic surgery, and even then, I kind of believe it unless you have some form of if it really, really bothers you to get plastic surgery. But then you've got other problems when you go through that, and I'm not here to. Here, the disclaimer: we are not here to diagnose, treat, cure, or impart any advice that you should use without checking with authorities first. Financial.
I think this disclaimer is.
Whatever the disclaimer
not needed
is,
every time.
I'm going to say it often.
Oh, okay.
So, for financial or for health or for psychological or anything, talk to a professional. Don't take our words for whatever we say. We are only going by our personal experiences, and we're here to help you because
we've been through a lot.
We've been through a lot in our life.
And we're trying to impart some of our wisdom back into the ether and hope that it helps. If it helps one person steer their life towards a better path, then hey,
well, it's
that's
certainly helping us.
Yes, it is.
It's helping us.
This is a great couples activity.
Yeah.
And a good, it's a good spontaneous brain thing.
We spend 24 hours a day with each other, but this is more fun. We're usually working or we're usually doing something that requires, a huge...
Our attention not on each other.
Yeah, our attention not on each other. This way we get to see what's your, if we brought up a topic, we get to talk about
There'll be a few in the future where we do not agree,
we
and you'll have opposing viewpoints. And
Yeah.
on that teaser,
yeah,
we're
and on
going to
that
say,
note, we're gonna say have a beautiful
We'll
afternoon.
see you
We've
next time.
gone on too long. Bye.